Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And this is me, Oberon, with my weekly show, Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges, a weekly forecast for the signs of the Zodiac with tarot and a little bit of astrology to kind of give you the idea about what your currents, undercurrents, ups and downs in your emotional life will be. Now, we do that with the zodiac signs as arranged by their elemental association. So we go through the air signs, fire, water, and earth. And we start off the whole program with a collective reading for everyone, for which I use the Isis Tarot. And I just randomly draw a card, or sometimes I let my producer do that. So we're going to let her do that today. And our card is Wave. The wave. It looks like a wave. Looks like a wave of amber. So what number was that? That was number 14. So let's get to that. A period of balance and understanding of each other. We can cooperate well with others, and therefore we do good business. It's the power of adaptation. It's about subtlety and serenity. It's to accept occurrences as they come. So keep that in mind for the week ahead, everyone, and just go with the flow, go with the wave. All right, so we're going to start off with our air signs. Air signs being Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And we previously pulled their card, their word of the week. And this is the additional mantra or beginning of the reading. And so they have the star. And that means that air signs will appreciate, look for, be a part of hope, destiny, inspiration. All these things will revolve around you. You may feel that all the events occurring around you are sort of providing you inspiration or giving you a key to what's going on. So let's just go with that spirit, because I think that's pretty cool, right? So now let's get on to the rest of the reading. Get my cards here. I'll go ahead and shuffle those, and we'll have the rest of our reading. Hello there, baby. Look who's come to join me. Go. Thanks, producer. If only Sunny could be chased away so easily. Alrighty, so the first card, or the second card, depending, is what is your emotional happiness? How will you find it this week? I'll get her on the next one. First of all, turn the chair away. Okay, so your emotional happiness for this week is the moon. And so I think that the moon is a really clear sign that air signs are just feeling a lot of fortune about emotionality around them. The moon is clearly the best sign for the overall influence of the emotions on our lives, and therefore happiness. And so I'm thinking this moon suggests that maybe there's mysteries going on, that maybe there are things being uncovered. But for the most part, it's really about a good fortune that's coming to you in terms of emotional things. So now, what will challenge or surprise the air signs this week? And it is the Six of Wands. And it's reversed. And so what is a challenge or surprise for us this week? Six of Wands. And it's reversed. And I think what is challenging is that where you feel you've been going in your emotional areas doesn't feel particularly winning. If there are particular people you've been trying to win over, whether for love, romance, or just getting along with new friends, you're not really doing the winning moves here, is what it looks like. It may also be, too, that maybe there's a sense here that you're afraid of losing in love, and that maybe you're not necessarily willing to challenge yourself that way. And I'm saying love rather than just emotionality, because I do think for some reason this one's pertaining to that. So then finally, what will affect your loved ones most this week? Whether they're your actual, best loves, or whether they're children, co-workers, other people in your life, friends that are important. And it's the Eight of Swords. And I think other people are really feeling that they've been bound in. And it could be you. It could be you that maybe has sort of created demarcations in some relationships with people. So maybe people are surprised that they feel you have been kind of holding them off to one side, or not letting them speak what they want, or let them do what they want. So if there's anybody in your life that feels you're not dealing with them fairly, you're not letting them have their own sense of autonomy and agency, you might want to consider that. So just recapping real briefly again, this week is really going to be very inspirational for most air signs, and they will find a lot of hope and destiny in things, especially with the fact that their happiness is very complete this week, that there's just a high quotient of pure emotional happiness here. But what is challenging or surprising, though, is that maybe we're not feeling that, even though it's around us. The challenge really is trying to be more on the mark, and that's where there's a problem here. We're just not quite getting to the mark. Although we have that lovey feeling, there's some accomplishment that we're just not quite there with. And maybe to boot, we're also maybe not really relating well to other people in our lives, because we're maybe trying to sort of hold them back in their own ways. So think about all of this week. It's really kind of a complicated reading for the air signs. I don't expect anything less, though, maybe. So we're going to move on, and that's now to our fire sign friends. And fire signs, you are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And we have pulled your word of the week, and it's this card, Transformation, which is also known as Judgment in some decks. And I think this card is saying that the fire signs are really, they're going through a lot of stuff that maybe is making them reevaluate and upgrade their vibration. I think fire signs are really all about figuring out where they can advance and evolve this week. So now let's get on to the rest of the reading. And I want to remind everybody to also watch Banshee's show, Material Matters, on Sundays. Banshee's Material Matters. I know she thinks I sort of slurred there or got tripped up. She's laughing at me, but that's okay because I laugh at her too. And now, for the fire signs, what emotional happiness will you find this week? And your emotional happiness is with the King of Cups reversed. And I think that's saying to us here that you're going to be trying harder to come across to other people. You want other people to see you as being more worldly when it comes to love, but more wise about love, more kind, more beneficial, benevolent, more counseling, more understanding. And maybe you're really going to have to work at this week because it is reversed, and I am feeling that there's a little bit of things that are in your way there with that. Maybe it's that sense of judgment and transformation, but that's what will make you happy this week if you can get yourself to it, is just being that really kind and wonderful person you are. Now, what will challenge you this week is another court card, and it's the reversed Princess of Wands. That's sort of like the Page of Wands. So I think you are challenged by really being the best, most diplomatic, tactful, gracious person you can be, that maybe many of the situations you're coming up with this week will really call for you to be polite and be totally in charge and not to do anything wrong. It is a challenge because maybe there's just some really heady stuff going on around you and you're just really not quite feeling the sense of being more polite, but it's really going to pay off. You just have to find your way there. And I know it is challenging for many fire signs to be always polite, but I know you can do it. So finally, what will be affecting the emotional happiness of others around you, be they your spouse, your parents, children, your teacher, your neighbor, anybody like that that you care about, that you have a relationship with? And it's the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Discs. And I think that those of us we care about, they sort of just really want to be alone this week with themselves. They really want to enjoy themselves. Maybe you're part of that. I'm not saying that they want to just go off and be totally alone, but I'm thinking those around you who you care about the most, they want to enjoy you. They want to be with you this week. They want to find what is going to make you all happy. So let's recap that again and say that this is a time for you to reevaluate your spiritual goals and to also look at where you can be a better person just in general. I think that's also bleeding over into the King of Cups where your emotional happiness is. It's reversed and it's saying to me that you want to be a better person, but it's a little bit hard this week. You're just having a little bit of a hard time dealing with some of the emotionality that's around. What challenges you, I think, is the fact that you're not quite finding the right words to say. You're not quite being your normal gracious self. There's just sort of a quickness to you, and you need to tame that a little bit. But ultimately, where it ends up is that those that care about you truly will always care about you, and they just want to be with you, and they want to enjoy your company as much as possible. So that's what I have for the fire signs. So now we are going to move on to our good friends like me who are the water signs. And water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And their word of the week is justice. So I think water signs have to think about being fair. I think they also have to think about receiving fairness, that it's a two-way street, and that if you are fair to others, others will be fair to you.
Cut it out.
So now let's see what else is going on for the water signs this week. What emotional happiness will the water signs find this week? And it's the King of Swords reversed. And you may feel that the decision you have to take in a certain decision will be made impetuously or too harshly, but you really realize that you have to do this. There is some situation going on where you pretty much have to apply a little bit of sternness. So it's a little bit, wonky that it shows up in what makes you happy, but I think what this means, though, is that you realize this is a decision you've been putting off for a while, and so finally getting this over with. Maybe this idea that that you had to be a little harsher than you normally would have with this particular situation. It bothered you, but you had to do it. So getting the decision over with is the part that makes you happy. Now, what will challenge or surprise you this week, water signs, is the Chariot. And the Chariot's upright, so thank goodness for that. But I think that maybe what will happen for the water signs this week is that if they've been feeling really, really unmotivated or unable to just kind of put their their stuff in gear and get moving, this is the week that perhaps it will change. And especially maybe in the realm of the emotions, that you have been thinking about something you really care about and that you really want to move ahead on. Somehow you're going to be able to find a way to make that happen finally. So then, what will concern others in your life, loved ones of various sorts? And it's the devil reversed. And so be they children, spouses, co-workers, other loved friends, these folks are maybe finding a way to release themselves from some problems. Maybe they're turning the corner on bad habits. Maybe they're getting rid of situations that just basically are obsessive for them. I think that's what's concerning those around you, and that you will mostly have to just, support them and deal with that. So let's recap again. You are working with the sense of justice and applying fairness to everybody, and I think that's really going to work for that last card there. But what is happy for you is that you realize you can finally make a decision. It may be a decision you just didn't really want to make. You didn't feel totally good about it, but you're happy you're finally sort of putting that into the bed. You're putting that at rest. The decision will be made. Heads may fly or heads may not, but you finally are getting away from that, and that's what's going to make you happy. Now, what will challenge you, though, maybe is finding your next project or your next thing to put your energy into, especially if it's coming up into the emotional realms, that maybe there are just some friendships you need to put more time into, more effort into. Maybe there's somebody you need to do something because it shows them that you love them. And then finally, others around you are working with their own problem areas. You need to support that. When people around you are having success stories related to overcoming obstacles, everyone can share in that. So that's what I have for the water signs. And mine, finally, a little bit tongue-tied here, I'm getting to the earth signs. Earth signs are, of course, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And their word of the week is evolution. And I think the earth signs will find that this is the time where they will be thinking about all those ways that they can actually really advance themselves. Maybe there's a particular thing that you needed to just really come to a different kind of understanding, and mostly that meant rising above. So that's what I think you're going to be thinking about this week as your mantra, your word of the week, is how you can evolve. So now let's see what else is going on for the earth signs. What will make the earth signs happy this week? What emotional happiness will they find? And you have the King of Discs, or the King of Pentacles. And I think earth signs will find that when they feel that they're really in control of most of the aspects of their material life, that makes them feel happy. That sounds like an earth sign to me. It's such a correlation there. But really being in charge of your job, being in charge of your investments, being in charge of all those things, especially as it may concern who you do that for, your loved ones, the people that are in your emotional realm. That's what really makes you happy. The realization that you are the one. You're the one who makes it happen for a lot of other people. So then what are your challenges or surprises this week, earth signs? And you have the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups is reversed. And so I think the challenge for you is moving beyond this idea that you are the provider, you are taking care of everybody, but really finding what is it that really is the true focus here. What emotionally should you be putting your feelings, your vibes, your highest hopes into? Maybe if you're single, you've been thinking about more than one person that you would like to move on with, move closer towards. Now may be the time for you to really figure out where you're going with that. But if it's something else, it's the same thing. You really are presented with a set of emotional, pleasing things. You have to figure out which one you can have, because maybe this isn't the time for you to have all of them. So you're going to move ahead somehow with a decision, and it's a little challenging. Then finally, what is affecting those around you, your parents, your children, your lovers, your spouses, your best friends, any of that. And we have our moon here. And the moon, I think what affects them is that maybe some people are feeling like this isn't everybody in your life, but maybe there's somebody who feels like the mystery of their life is why don't they have love? There's a mystery. They sort of feel like they're looking for something that will be emotionally uplifting to them. And I don't know that you can necessarily help them with that, but maybe you could figure out where they need some good strokes, maybe where they need some support from you. So I think you have to support people who are still on their own quest through the valley to find love or emotional happiness. So recapping that once again, we are all about evolution. We are about trying to advance our knowledge and everything else for that matter. And I think that we are happy because we really feel we give, we provide, we are a source. We may not be the only source, but we just feel that we're good in that role of being, I don't want to say a daddy, but it's just really an important provider type of idea there. What challenges us, I think, though, is that we really need to find what it is we can do to best express our emotional goals at this time, whether they're love or they're anything else relating to pleasures for us. We need to fine-tune that and move ahead with that. And then those around us are also looking at finding better emotional contentment. Be aware of that. Be helpful if you can, but certainly don't stand in the way. So I think that's what we have for you guys this week, and I'm ready to pack it in till another week. I just want to remind everybody to watch all of our shows, watch our live streams on Thursdays and Sundays, watch Goth Tarot on Wednesdays, or the Emotional Exchanges on Friday, the Material Matters on Sunday. Yes, we can do it. And once a month, we have a modalities, astrological, the most unique astrological reading that we do. Well, maybe anyone else does too. So anyways, thanks for joining me this week, and we'll see you next week.